The honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Minister of Lands and Forestry. Yesterday, the Auditor General released a report that details how this government is not adequately accounting for the cost of remediating mine sites. The Auditor General's office found that the department has not completed sufficient investigations on all of the abandoned mine sites that may pose a risk to Nova Scotians. The government committed almost $150 million to cleaning up old industrial sites without knowing the bigger financial picture, which could be hundreds of millions of dollars. That leaves gaping financial questions in the province's accounting and a concern that the costs will be punted down the road for someone else to deal with. Mr. Speaker, when will the minister be able to tell Nova Scotians the full costs of cleaning up those sites?
The Honourable Minister of Lands and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And as I said yesterday, we fully accept the recommendations from the Auditor General. It aligns with our government's priorities to look at some of the sites that have been left behind by previous governments and not dealt with at all, Mr. Speaker. So what we're doing is looking at the sites that are closest to communities and have expected higher levels of potential contamination. Not all sites that had this type of activity will have remediation, but we have prioritized 2 sites, and we have $94 million on the table for a site in the Montague area and another site in the Guysborough area. We're going to proceed with those 2 sites as priorities, and then we have a number of sites we're going to be looking at in the future, and we'll have a sophisticated plan that was not in place previous to our government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Mr. Speaker, the minister assures us that the 2 sites chosen at Goldenville and Montague Mines were the most egregious sites and were prioritized for that reason. But the Auditor General's report makes it clear that we simply don't know that for certain. There's a whole lot we don't know about all the abandoned sites that are scattered across the province, and there are significant health and environmental concerns associated with them. Mercury and arsenic are 2 of the substances that may be leaking into local water supplies. Mr. Speaker, can the minister please explain exactly how those sites were chosen without having done a full analysis of all abandoned sites across the province?
The Honourable Minister of Lands and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And what I can tell you is I do trust some of the professional advice given to our very capable public servants from not only the Department of Lands and Forestry, but those that have expertise in energy and mines, and Nova Scotia Lands that have expertise in how to deal with contaminated sites. These abandoned mines, there's 69 of them across the province. It's not a problem that just happened yesterday. This has been around for several decades back when there was very limited to no regulations for this type of industry. What we're going to do today and moving forward is what past governments did not do, and we're going to address not only the sites that have been abandoned, but also sites like Boat Harbour and sites like Harrisfield. This government continues to put the money where our mouth is in terms of protecting the environment and cleaning up past messes left behind. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.